Hello, sinners. I meant hello, seniors. And by seniors, I mean graduating seniors. I've been thinking about you all a lot, especially this past weekend. I don't know if you noticed, but on Saturday, I graduated. After spending 4 years working on a degree, everything got canceled, and I found out that I graduated by Facebook. And I just can't imagine going through high school, your whole, everything builds toward graduation, and then it gets canceled. That's not the way things are supposed to be. I mean, I genuinely feel for you. I pray for you guys. I love you guys. But it also reminds me of the sermon this past week. Remember, the sermon this past week was about the Lord's Prayer, but it was also about what the Lord's Prayer informs us to pray for, right? And the two big things were, one is it tells us to acknowledge our longing for shalom. Things are not the way they are supposed to be, and we long for it and ache sometimes for them to be the way they are, and we want God to make them the way they are supposed to be. Now, will he redeem all of this? Sure, he will. Will he redeem it in our lifetime? A lot of it, he will. But right now, it doesn't feel that way. We just ache and we long. But that also, we were reminded that we need God's common grace, we need God's saving grace, and we need God's persevering grace just to make it to the end. And so as you're contemplating what's going to happen next, hope for the best. Right? We hope for the best and we prepare for contingencies and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, God has a plan in all of this, and he's going to make good of it. One of the things you'll be praying for, especially if you're a senior, or if you're a member of New Hope, or someone who just cares about New Hope, or if you're a person who prays, or anybody, this afternoon even, we're going to be interviewing a new student director, one of a few candidates. And that's always fun. It's always sort of like, so part of it's fun and part of it's like, oh, well, here we go again. But pray that God brings us the right person who can love our students, who can help disciple whole families, who can do all of this kind of thing. And pray for the team that's interviewing them. There's 4 or 5 of us. And of course, it's all by Zoom. And I long for the day when I don't have to do Zoom meetings anymore. I know you probably do as well. So please be praying for us. Think about it. If you missed the sermon this past week, I'd encourage you to listen to it. Every now and then, something happens in a sermon where it seems to hit people. And I've heard more from this sermon. I've gotten more notes. I've gotten more messages about this sermon than I have in a long time about a sermon. And it mostly had to do with the aching for shalom. Maybe one of the things you can do at the end of this video, it helps us if you engage. And I don't mean just like our page and that kind of thing, but maybe in the comments below, right, what is something that you long for right now? That when COVID is over, it's sort of like, I remember when I was in Ranger School, I just couldn't help but think, man, when this is over, I want to get a pizza. Like when COVID is over, imagine it was going to be over tomorrow. What would you want? What do you long for right now? So think about that. Look forward to when we finally get together. Love you, Pastor Tommy.